Yeah, I retired Friday from medical, started a new job today.
What you gonna do? Sure.
Operations
Yeah, if you want
manager,
to, it don't matter.
2 locations in Gallatin for a company.
She won't pay you unless you own the community anyway.
Right place, right time, good offer. So see ya.
Yeah. You had 30 years of petrol. 22.
East. No, going west. Goes that far, though. Come on, Bill.
But it was disabled.
She's got 27.
Car yet? Make sure you got the right one on.
May I have your attention, please? It's 6 o'clock. We've got a pretty good schedule, so we're going to get started. First thing on the back of your agenda, you'll find a copy of the minutes. I hope you've had a chance to look at them. Mr. Harris.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Mr. Walsh, second. There's a motion to second. Any comments on the minutes? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with a no vote? Ayes have it. Find this sheet right here. That's the trustees' report. If you look at the balance sheet up there, it's offset on one side or the other. Ending balance is $12,231, $12,231,000. The beginning balance is $18,891,000. But if you look up at the third line, you'll see CCA has not got their $4,936,000 draw this month. So once you do that, it pretty well equals out. You also got to remember that July, August, and September, we didn't bring in as many tax dollars. And I will bring you up to date on the other a little bit later. But that's the reason why you have a pretty good offset there. Look at the liabilities. I don't see anything, or I haven't seen anything much out of the ordinary. It's pretty well where we expected it to be. County General is still holding up good, nearly $3 million. Urban's over $1 million. We jumped down to schools, they're over $4 million. So that's pretty well where we expected to be, and we are pretty well there. Now, if you will, turn over to the back side of that sheet, and let's look at some things that's going to have bearing on our summary financial report that I want to make you aware of. Starts out with revenues, hotel, motel tax, local amusement. But the couple of big things you need to look at is investment income. That's going to pop up over here in your survey. That's interest that got logged in right here. Contributions in gift, we had some contributions, $4,325, and we had some insurance recovery. How many deer did y'all hit this past month, sir?
I don't know.
I've got two of them in there. It says
Some of them
as far
running into us.
And then look right below that on expenditures. There's a couple of things there is going to pop up to you. Fire department trucks finally come in, as you see it, for the amount of $290,375.53. Other public health, and this is the nonprofit contribution, $9,500. That I think it incurred all of them except soil conservation. Theirs is $13,227, and there you can see they drawed 100% of pretty well on both of them. And this other charges, you got to realize this is dispersed out over a considerable area. It includes liability and workers' comp premiums that be reimbursed by other funds. So this will be drawn from a lot of the other funds. Urban services, Follow on down, no significant transactions, no significant transactions on revenue or expenditures. Solid waste, same, no significant transactions in revenue or expenditures. And you notice one down there, post-closure care. This is work in progress at the landfill. That'll probably pop up again. Now I found this one sheet that's single, but this right here. We got about 4 copies we're gonna be dealing with. So, this one here, ambulance service, no significant transaction with revenues or expenditures. You see core civic, no significant transaction. That's why they got that $4 million something dollars. Who knows what the holdup is? I checked with Amy the other day. We're still holding that 45,000 that we've been holding for at least 9 months, maybe longer than that. County drug fund, no significant transactions with revenues or expenditures. County debt service, revenues there is going to be investment income. That's one of the things we looked at there a while ago. Expenditures, no significant transactions. Educational debt service, the revenues of 44,110, investment income, there again is going to pop up. Expenditures, no significant transaction. You need to know those few things because when we get into this other part over here, it's going to show up in several places. Or some places, different items in different places. All right, if you will, go back to your agenda on the front page. And we'll start with budget amendments. First one we have is 2020-118-01FB. And EMS director is asking to move his 4-wheel drive truck to the rescue fleet and purchase a 2-wheel drive for the director's position. So that's the first one we got to deal with. I need discussion, etc. Gary?
I got a question on that.
Mm-hmm.
If you look on page 13 of the agenda for Monday night, at the top of the page it says $33,000, and then down it says 38. Which one's it going to be?
I wish I could answer that. Can you answer that, Mayor?
Which one's that on?
The 38 may have been a projection, and the 33 something may be the actual figure. That's what I would
The night he
think.
brought it to us, it was 38.
Pardon?
The night he brought it to us, it was 38.
That's what I'm thinking. That was a projection. Yes, Ms. Jones?
I think 33 is the base vehicle and 38 is with all the bells and whistles.
Okay.
We should be the 38.
That's very well good.
I say that's probably just a typo, it should be the 38.
That's my understanding is the extra money was to equip it for life.
I'd say are these vehicles going to be marked? I don't think any of them have the county logos on them.
That was discussed in the emergency services meeting. The color was discussed, markings were discussed, and I think Director Beatty, I don't want to speak for him, but he's not here, didn't want them to be marked. Not sure why. They wanted them dark, blackout vehicles.
Okay.
We weren't sure why. I have a problem with us buying a 2-wheel drive truck as a rescue vehicle. I think it should be a 4-wheel drive truck. If not, he may not need it in his duties right now, but when you need it, you really need it. And if it's ever going to be passed down, much like the vehicle he's passing down now, to another part of the department or another department, it may certainly need to be 4-wheel drive. So I'm not in favor of this purchasing a 2-wheel drive truck. As far as the color and markings, he's department head. I think that's his call. I think we can certainly voice our opinions on it, but I don't know that we can necessarily decide. Maybe we can, but the other thing, if you don't mind, I have a real hard time with us going through a budget process, and 2 days after we pass a budget, coming in requesting a vehicle. I think it should have been a part of last year's budget process. Not saying they don't need it, not saying they don't have the money to do it. It just sets a pretty bad precedent going forward with our budget processes if we're just gonna come right in directly after one and approve purchases of this size. That's all I'll say.
Commissioner Gary?
If I remember correctly, about 3 years ago, we passed and all county vehicles will be identified with the county logo.
Probably right.
Well, if it was brought up to them to all be labeled the same with the same logo, but that still don't have, all of them don't have the same, but they are supposed to have some kind of county logo on it. County vehicles, supposed to have a logo.
The only department that I can think of off the top of my head, of course I could change my mind, someone could come up with a better idea, but the Sheriff's Department's got undercover capabilities with some of their vehicles. That's why they don't have their marking, but most of yours are marked. Can you think of any reason why, I'm just going to ask you, is there any reason why we would be unmarking or leaving vehicles in the emergency service like an ambulance unmarked? I mean, for what reason?
I don't have any idea on that.
Do they not work with you guys or work in conjunction with you guys on any projects that you know of where they would need an unmarked vehicle?
I don't know of. We call them in sometime for like we got a hostage situation or we need them there in case we got somebody barricaded in. We've called them on standby. And if we want to do a search warrant, we'll have them on standby.
Would that negate, or would that make it necessary where you'd have to have it unmarked? Just like, I mean,
I can't answer that, you know, I don't.
but from your perspective, in terms of the sheriff's deputy, I mean, you guys wouldn't go in unmarked necessarily on a.
Our detective trucks are unmarked. We use those for different things, undercover work, decals on. We got all kinds of different decals that we work under. We work radar in them a lot of times.
Any more comments? We do not have a motion.
She's got a comment.
I just have one that
Yes,
I've
Ms.
had
Lee.
people to approach me about is when they have this like black truck or something flying at them, they don't know what it is because there's no markers, nothing. In the past, I've just had people ask me
I
about it.
assume it would have red lights on it or blue lights, whatever they use.
Right, well, I mean, they see that, but they, you know, they couldn't understand why. I said, I don't know.
Well, there's one thing we could do with this, if you don't feel good about it tonight and don't want to vote on it tonight, we could put it off for next month. And let Mr. Beatty come in and talk to us about it and then make the decision.
Yeah.
I'm not saying do that, I'm just saying we can do that.
You need a motion.
I need a motion one way or the other.
Move to put it off to next month till we can hear from Mr. Beatty on this.
Mr. Gregory.
I second, but I think we need to do a four-wheel drive like Mr. Gill's talking.
Yeah,
about.
I think
Those $3,000.
Well,
Two-wheel drive
next
trucks
month,
without
too.
work.
Need to, if it is put off, then Mayor, you probably will be talking with him. He needs to get a price on how much difference it's gonna be for a four-wheel drive, if you would. When he comes in, he needs to be prepared to talk about that.
Yeah, you can probably go online and check the state contracts and see
Right,
what the
that's-
price
that's
is
what I'm
for
saying.
between the four and the two-wheel drive.
Mr. Ferguson.
Can we back up just for a second and ask your office to look into what Commissioner Flaherty had said? I knew we had some discussions about trying to label our vehicles across the board, other than the exceptions that you have in the Sheriff's Department. And I don't know if we ever got to official vote on that as a commission, or maybe it was in committee and was kicked around. I know it was kicked around, but I don't know if it ever came to a vote. So it's kind of hard to enforce something if you don't really have it as a policy. I mean, if you got it as a policy, then would it not fall on your office then to enforce that policy? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, and this is the first I've heard of it, so I'll go back and
So
research.
I don't know. I don't know how far we got on that.
I remember the discussion.
I remember the
think we passed
discussion. I
it.
don't know if we passed it or not.
I think we did.
We passed it out of local government.
I think we did.
Put all the county vehicles the same logo on all of them.
I believe you're
Which I think
right.
is a great idea, but, I mean, if you don't have it.
I'm not arguing, I'm just saying I think he's right.
Yeah.
I think somewhere down the line, Carol dropped it and never did bring it before the county commission, but it passed out of local government service
Well, then,
to be done.
That could be right too.
I'll go back and research it. See what I
We
can
don't
find.
have it.
Local government meetings is where it was at.
All right, for the moment, I have a motion to put it off till next month. Any further discussion, comments, et cetera? Let the records so indicate, Mr. Clerk, that we have 100% in attendance. So, all in favor of the motion to put it off, let it be known by raising your right hand. Unanimous, 9 votes. No need asking if there's any negative, because there's nobody here to vote negative. All right, we'll move on down to interdepartmental transfers. First one we have, and these are coming out of 101 General Fund, 2020-10101 County Clerk Computers. And this is something she had to have for office in that BIS, coming out of restricted accounts for the county clerk for a total of $3,050. And we can handle all of these at one time unless you want to do one of them individually. Mr. Clardy,
I'll make a motion to combine them all.
you make a motion, then I gotta vote on that. Motion, Mr. Clardy, second by Mr. Walsh, that we combine these four and vote on at the same time. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed and no vote? Ayes have it. 2020-10102 Sheriff's Insurance Recovery, recovery on 2 collisions for $2287.12. Any comments on that before we go further? Okay, 2020-10103 Archives Grant for $2,000, underline the word grant, was awarded to us, and we appreciate that. Animal shelter improvements, appropriation, recent donation revenue to the building improvement expenditures that was given to us. I guess it's on there, in there, so I guess I could tell you who it was. Betty Lou and Bo White made that contribution. So these are grants, guys, except for the first one up there that we're buying a computer out of her restricted funds.
They're all money coming in.
They are.
They're income. Yeah, even the one on the computers, you're
Yeah.
just moving it from her restricted.
She has a
fund.
restricted fund. You're not actually spending any money here, in a sense. You are, but you ain't. These are grants or money that's already there that's just being used. Any other comments? Are you ready for the question? All in favor, raise your right hand. 9-0, unanimous. We'll move on down to the general school fund, 2020-141-01, health services. Amend the health services budget to account for a portion of HSSL grant not originally budgeted. So this is a grant for $755. And here again, Mr. Joel.
All of these are the same thing. They're all
Yeah.
monies coming in. The one on the health services there, it was just left off. It was in one part of their budget, and one line item, it wasn't there. So it's just to correct that. And all the others are grants that
They're all
are coming
grants.
in, or donations.
Right,
that
so I
are
don't
all
see a
coming
reason why
in.
we can't handle them all at one time.
And I
2020.
have, from the school system, if you want to see more about what each one of them are, I have that. I went over them with Dr. Satterfield last week. But they're all monies coming in, and we should be able to do them all at one time.
2020-14102 after-school program grant from Walmart for $5,000. 2020-14103 an arts commission ticket subsidy for $2,685. 2020-14104 is food services transfer in for $725. 2020-14105, Walmart donation. And this is for instructional supplies and materials for $700. And a Save School grant, this is SRO money, 2020-14106 for $30,350. So every one of these are basic grants, even the first one was, but it didn't get put in their budget. If you have any questions, well, feel free to ask them.
Make a motion, we do them all.
Have a motion make that we pass them all at the same time by Commissioner Jewell and second by Commissioner Rachel Jones. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed to the no vote? Ayes have it. That's all the business, guys, that I got to come before. Oh, no, it ain't. I'm sorry, I missed this sheet here. I got ahead of myself. So let's go to this sheet, which is the summary financial statement. Now, I went down over this thing really well, and I did not see a lot of things. I did tag a few of them, so we're going to go over it anyway. If you notice at the top, and we're at 3 months, which is 1/4 of our budget, or 25%. Current property tax, which is budgeted for the quarter, $2,673,263. But if you look at that actual, you see what I talked about earlier? The first 3 months, we didn't take in very much money, only 1.51%, which is not very much. I promise you, after this month, it's going to change dramatically.
I think she said she's already collected a little over $1 million.
$1,900,000 and something thousand as of last Thursday.
Well, prison's paid.
Now,
I asked her
the
today.
prison paid, yes. Got some more to talk to you about the prison when we get to it. The only other one there that's clerk taxes collection is up considerably. That's great. Don't know why, but it is. Local option sales tax is down a little bit. Mixed drinks running a little bit behind. Impact adequate facility tax, we collected a little more there than 25%. Building permits, we budgeted $80,000, we collected $33,513 for almost 42%. You can see about all these court fines down here, the majority of them are up. They're not way up, some of them's running right on. But there's some more things in here we are going to discuss a little bit later. Chancery court cost, that's a little high. Jail telephone commissions, that is up. Now, understand that we're still in revenues, guys. Investment income, that figure I gave you over there a while ago, we can add down for $50,000, but we actually took in $57,000. That's because interest rate went up a little bit. It's even stated that Miss Cindy talked with them about it, and they gave her a little better rate there. Lease rentals, that's up a little bit. Contributions and gift, that's at $43.25, we talked about a little earlier. Local revenues, and I don't know what that is. Mary, you may know, it's 62.24%. I don't know what this other local revenues, what it is at this point.
I can't tell you exactly, but I think it's just kind of like a catch-all. Anything doesn't fit in these
It
other
may
ones
very
goes
well
into
be.
that.
And one thing in our budget also makes it looks a little gloomier is that 500,000 grant for homes. That's showing in there as revenue, and really, and it is, but it's going to go back out to help fix some of these homes that's in front of us. Of course, income tax is up considerably, but and I don't know exactly how she came to that figure. Beer tax is running a little bit behind. State revenue sharing telecom is down a little. Contracted prisoner board is up a little bit, about 5%. Tax credit bond rebate. I'm glad to see that that's up. I think I'm looking at it the right way, aren't I, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I said, I think I'm looking at that 47,715 on tax credit bond rebate. Rebate means it's coming back, the way I look at it. It's 52.15% for the first quarter. We had 110,000 budgeted and it's 57,365, so it's, and I'm assuming that's rebate on some of our bonds, is it not, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I think that'd be correct. That's why
I
it's
think
in
that's
revenue.
correct. Getting down to total revenues, we had budgeted $5,641,108. We've actually taken in $592,783, plus the $1,902,000 that's come in already in October, and it'll be considerably more by the end of October. One thing I really want to bring you up to date on, this year when they did the tax assessment all over the county, CCA went down $100,000. And they paid their taxes already this year. But the state assessment is down from $100,000. Don't ask me why, I don't know, but it is. County commission, if you look right under that, going back to that percentage, I wanted to touch on that. We only took in $592,783 in the first 3 months. But realize you don't get hardly any taxes in until October, and that's because of 2%. You wouldn't be getting it then, so your fund balance will continue to take a beating. So we only took in 10.51. Now you can watch October because that figure is going to be considerably more. Considerably more. I started to mention county commission. That's a little bit high, but the reasons all those meetings we had on budget, trying to get budgets taken care of.
Some of these also reflect the dues that we've had to pay for various associations and stuff
That's
that end
true.
right at
That's
the
true.
first part of the year that you
That's
don't
right.
have any other time.
I'm down on expenditures now. County mayor executive, he's up over 5% there. Mayor, you running a tight ship or what? That's probably overtime by any guess.
Some of it's probably overtime, some of it is going to different conferences and whatnot.
That's right. County attorney, we're doing good there. He's only hit us for 12%. He's not here tonight, I can't pick on him. Election commission is running under. Register of deeds is right on. Planning is under a bit. County buildings is pretty close. What are we spending here for county buildings, Mayor? On this 51,800 county buildings, we budgeted $227,000. We spent $51,913. Is that custodial work and all that?
No, that's like repairs, if a door comes off, coming in doing small repairs, those kind of things to all the county buildings, and
Okay,
so
I
that's
just
kind of a
wanna be
catch-all.
sure. And a lot of these other offices that you see have had to buy various things, assessor's office, trustee, the county clerk, we talked about that one, data processing, circuit court clerk, general sessions court, all these are running either right on or right above. Judicial commissioners is running, we had 33,000, so they're a little bit under the 25%. Sheriff Department is running about a little over 1% under. Drug enforcement is up for some reason. The jail is right in line. Workhouse is right in line. Juvenile services is a little under. Fire prevention and control, tanker truck, that's what that's so much for. Talked about it a while ago, $290,375.53 for the new truck in the fire department. Rescue squad's way down. Other emergency management, I'm not sure exactly what that is. It's running close. Jump down to animal shelter. That's 26.62. They're going through a renovation of about $3,000, so that's what that is. The tobacco grant, we got in a good bit of that. That means that was money coming in. 47.40% of that come in. Litter grant, part of that come in. Other public health and welfare, which is there again is your nonprofit organizations. Senior citizens assistance is running right in line. Libraries are. Parks and Fair Board's a little under. Soil conservation, they've got all of their money that we give them every year. That's what that 99.99% is. Other charges, I'm not sure what she's got in there unless it is the one thing we talked about over there a while ago. Look back to find it. I believe that may be taxes that she's said would be distributed amongst all the other different areas. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. That and what was taxes, that's what it was. That and insurance. That was the one thing that we had over there was a real high figure, and I'm almost sure that's what that is. And miscellaneous, I don't know what's in miscellaneous. Looking on over here into revenues, nothing much out of line there. Building permits, of course. I'm sorry, that's in urban services. I'm in urban services now. But if you look back over here, we budgeted $7,021,701 in revenue, and we only took in actually $1,975,000. And I'm not sure, that's all this other stuff, grants and everything is coming in. Next month, that figure will change dramatically.
Isn't that going out? Yeah. That's expenditures, that's going
I'm
out.
sorry, yes it is. That's why it looks so bad over here a while ago. That is expenditures, thank you, Gary. Jump on over to urban services. Building permits is the only thing that really caught my eye on that. And this is in the old city limits area. They're doing rather well. They're running right on the line. And the other one's alcohol beverage tax. Actually is running a little bit over. If you look at their budget, it's $1,022,298, and they've only taken in $103,185. There again, it goes back to taxes. Next month, that's going to change a bunch. And let's see. Look at expenditures. Sheriff Department is under a little bit. Fire prevention controls under. We've only spent or incurred in expenses $196,000, which is only about 15%. So that's running really good. Solid waste, current property tax, $583,713. We've actually taken in $8,800 for 1.5%. There again, at the end of October, it'll be a whole lot more. Not much discount property tax. Clerk and master's collection, trustees collection are really running good. That's a good sign. Commercial and industrial waste collection. Actually taking in about 30,000 there. Solid waste grant, landfill, if we know what that is. This money's gonna be going out, but it hadn't spent much of it yet. Total revenues for solid waste, $1,193,449. Actually been out $48,163, which is 4.04%. That too will change considerably next month. Expenditures, convenience center on 20.1%. Recycling center, 14.5%. Other waste disposal, 17.6%. Post closure, which is that part of that 322, only spent 1.9%, and that was for the getting it all surveyed, etc., getting ready to do the work. The total expenditures out of the $1,533,339.91 is $165,774. We've only spent like 10.81% of that. First 3 months we've done real well, but remember we're operating out of fund balance too. So actually the year is going to start big time in October and November, because we still get 1% in November. Ailment service, budgeted $420,945. It actually brought in $6,346, which is only 1.5%. Discount on property tax a little bit. Trustees collection 18.2. Clerk and masters at 27.4, which is up a little. Total revenue for the ambulance service $973,092. We've only spent 60, or brought in 67,753 for 6.96%. That will change too. Ambulance service expenditures, $1,102,164 is budgeted. We've actually spent $257,668, 23.38%. Now, am I right, Mayor? Are they getting a new ambulance? Is that happening? I heard something about that. Do you know?
They have not, they got one a few years ago, and they might be looking at one in the future.
Maybe
but
I've
they're
got
not
that
now.
confused with the.
No, a lot of this
I don't
is service of vehicles, buying new equipment, medication. That's a large expenditure is medication.
know. Special fund CCA, if you see there, we actually brought in $4,938,034. That's why the main sheet looked so bad out of shape. 18,000 versus a 13,000, whichever it was. They still hadn't got much of their money. Out of 50 million, they've got 9.88%, which is 4,938,000. I'm not sure they've got that yet. County drug fund, 16,000 budgeted. We brought in 4,400, 27.62. We spent out 0.1%, which is $46.37. Debt service, current property tax, 47611. As you can see, there again, we hadn't taken in but 1.51% of property tax. But there again, that's going to change next month, big time. Trustees collection has been good. Clerk and masters has been really good. And I had a note down here to ask Amy why, and I called her and I didn't get her. Do you know why that is so much more, Mayor?
It's just
77%?
That's just people coming in and paying off the collections, whether it's back taxes or anything like that.
That's about all it can be.
Why it's up, I'm just glad it
Somebody
is.
come in and paid off a bill, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Investment income, that's the simply enters. And she had that under debt service, so that was some debt service money. Contributions, $159,450. We hadn't brought in any on that yet. Transfers in, 11,000. So out of debt service budget, $754,134, we brought in $59,388, which is almost 8%. And expenditures, out of the $787,558, we've actually spent $150,135, which is 19%. And some of this goes back to bonds up here. That general government principal bond, I'm sure that's what that 64 or 66.4 is. Education, that's what that is. It's all run through there. Educational debt service, and this where wheel tax comes in. We budget $345,000. We've actually collected $66,378, which is about 19%. Investment income at $13,524. There again is interest. Contributions from the school is $55,000. I believe that's money that they help pay on one of their bonds that they pay to the 101 and we pay it out. Ain't that right, Mary?
That's part of their payment on the high school.
That's right. So total revenues, $403,000. We've actually collected $134,903, which is good at 33.47. Expenditures, and if you notice, that bond hasn't been paid yet, but it will be. If you see the principal there in May, I believe May is when we have to pay, well, I know it is. We pay it off in 22, May the 5th, 22, it's paid off.
Yes.
So that's what part of that 55,000, but it ain't been paid yet. Then you got education interest and education fees. So out of the budget of $676,900, we've only spent $10,858.94, which is 1.6%. But that'll catch up, guys. Any questions on that? It's lengthy, but when you get these in, sit down and look at them, and you can become pretty familiar with some of these things. Like on CCA, we're showing on our trustees report 18 million and something, but over on our county part, we're only showing 12 something. But if you knew there was 4.9 coming off of that, then you'd understand that they're balanced out pretty good. So as a whole, after the first quarter, I think we're doing really good. I think we're well in line with what we've got budgeted for this year. Oh, a little early. Yes, sir?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Wallace to adjourn and a second by Ms. Rachel Jones. She said it first there. Any other comments or whatever? It's not debatable, though. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Ayes have it. We are adjourned until time to start with our work session.